Welcome to another session of Coffee with the Candidates. We are here with Sarah Brandt today, who is running for the Yankton School Board. Once again, Election Day is April 8th, and early voting information and voting locations is on the Yankton Thrive website, yanktonsd.com. Thank you for joining us, Sarah.
Thank you for having me, Nancy.
So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewing audience?
Yeah, so my name is Sarah Brandt. My maiden name was Sarah Santos. I grew up in Yankton. First through 12th grade was in the Yankton School District, graduated from Yankton High School. Many activities throughout my childhood and educational career here in Yankton. I did band and choir and theater and tennis, and I just was really involved. I did a lot of church stuff, did a lot of volunteering. I worked with the Yankton Area Literacy Council. We did free adult English classes. There was just a broad experience of many different components of our community, but I had a great childhood. I loved growing up here and having access to all of those activities and to the lake and all of that. So once I graduated high school, I went to St. Olaf College up in Northfield, Minnesota. And while I was there, I still kept dating my high school sweetheart, Garner Brandt, who I'm now married to, my husband. And while I was in St. Olaf, I studied Spanish. And so I have a bachelor's in Spanish and education. But dating Garner and then knowing I was going to marry him, he is a part of his family business. He's the third generation, so he is the owner of Brandt Honey Producers. So knowing he was going to be here, I knew I was going to come right back, and I was excited to come right back to Yankton. And so with the teaching degree, I was very fortunate, and there was a position open in the Yankton School District at the time for a Spanish teacher, so I came right back after college, and I went straight into teaching. So I was a Spanish teacher, and then I was also an English learner teacher. But with Spanish, I stayed at the high school, a little bit at the middle school, but with English learners, I helped out at the elementary schools, the middle school, and the high school. During that 5 years, I also got a master's degree in English as a new language. I became a mother. I have two little children. I have a 5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, a 5-year-old boy, and a 1.5-year-old little girl. So I have two of them. My son is spitting image of my husband, and my daughter's spitting image of me. So we each have our minis. But after 5 years of teaching with the family business and being a mom, unfortunately I had to leave education just to be there for my family. There's only so much of you as a person. But during that time, I still kept doing community work. I've helped out a lot with connecting cultures, a lot of different organizations around the community to ensure that we're providing services to everybody, no matter what background you have, no matter what age you are, no matter what socioeconomic status or physical ability. Connecting Cultures has been working to make sure that everyone can thrive in Yankton, and so I've been doing a lot of work with them. But my passion for education has never stopped, which is why I'm even interested in running for school board. And so, yeah, that is me. That is up to date as to what I've been doing, and strong Yanktonite.
So does your husband call himself a bee farmer or a honey producer?
Honey producer, bee keeper, but then also apiarist, the more technical term. So yeah.
That is a unique career, but it's incredibly important in the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
So what sets you apart from the other candidates? And just so the viewing audience is aware, petitions can still be turned in today, so not all of the candidates, we might not know of them at this point in time.
Right. So I looked into the other few that are running right now, and there's great candidates, and some of them are parents of children, some of them are former Yankton alumni, some of them are former teachers, including myself. But as far as I know, and to the research that I've done, I have the trifecta experience of being a student and an alumni, graduating from Yankton High School. Then I was a teacher, so I have the teaching experience and the awareness of how the district works and all of the staff that really comes together to make the school function. And I think that was really eye-opening as a teacher. As a student, I think you kind of take it for granted and you're young and you don't see all of that. As a teacher, you see all the ins and outs of who's really putting in the time and the effort to really make it happen. And there's a lot of people coming in that. And I did list a couple, and I do want to mention a couple because sometimes we're unaware of those people that really come together to make it happen. The office staff are answering phones all day long and trying to get parents answers and get them to where they need to go. Custodial staff work very hard, nutrition staff, building and grounds staff, nurses, school psychologists, speech pathologists, paraprofessionals. The administrators are there long hours, and teachers, IT staff, everyone. And to be aware of all of those people coming together to make it happen, I think is really important. And then also there's community partnerships that we'll get into here in a little bit as well that are really crucial to making our district what it can be.
So in your opinion, what is the role of a school board member?
Mm-hmm. The school board member is the opportunity for the community to have a choice and to represent the voice of the larger community for school decisions. We want to bring in that public and community perspective of the parents and teachers to be able to voice concerns. There's public meetings, the school board meetings that community members can attend and listen to and read about to inform themselves and then be an active part of the decisions that are happening within our school district. And the school board serves to allow that to happen.
So how would you make yourself available to the community or communicate to the community? Because when you talk about being their voice, how will you hear their voice?
Yeah. I'm very out and about all the time in the community, and I really hope that people are able to approach me. I think even if, I do have a lot of people that I know, whether they were people that I grew up with, parents of people that I grew up with, students that I taught, parents of students that I taught. But even if you don't know me, I want people to be able to, one, approach me in person if you see me, two, reach out to me on any format. I will not be offended if you reach out to me on Facebook or, and I want to, and, our email addresses should be posted somewhere so people can easily access and communicate. I really want that open pathway, and that's a goal and mission of mine with representing is to be able to be accessible for people to share their concerns, thoughts, appreciation, all of that with the school board to be represented.
So what are your thoughts on the strategic plan for the Yankton School District facilities, which includes the addition of Trailhead Learning Center and the decommissioning of Webster School?
Yeah. So when I was teaching at Webster, was when we had the Great Flood. And Marne Creek is right next to it. And that was very tough, very scary. There was a lot of preparation. But it is an older building. It is a small building. There's only one classroom for each grade level within Webster. And then Webster has also been the site where they opened up an expanded public preschool. And that was something, even as a student, I remember being really proud of, was that that Yankton School District was offering free public preschool. Before, it was just private, and it was like, if you can afford it and if you can make the schedule work, then you had access. But Yankton School District opened that in 2007. I looked it up. So we're nearing a long time here having it open, but it has really grown. I read into when it opened, it was one class, one teacher, 3 classes within that one teacher and one paraprofessional. And now we've expanded, and I was looking at the new district facility, Trailhead Learning, and there's so much more opportunity. It is preschool, junior kindergarten, and kindergarten. And it seems like, oh, those are just young kiddos. There's a lot of kiddos that fall within that scope. I am impressed by the amount of planning that has gone into the Trailhead Learning Center. They have really been watching the numbers. There was a lot of foresight. There was a lot of strategic financial planning to make it as affordable as possible. And I think everybody really came together. The district really turned towards community input, teacher input, to make it be what it can be. And the pictures that we've seen, and they had an open house last night, the community, I hope, is really proud of the fact that we're able to offer that quality of facility for our students. And also it was necessary for the growth. And also there's intention and foresight happening already. The fact that Trailhead Learning Center has the possibility of building another wing if needed to add first grade, which is smart because it's not a new location, it's not a completely new area. You have that foundation to then continue on, which I think is moving in the right direction, and two, they're staggering it. They see the growth. Okay, we'll open Trailhead, we need to meet those needs, but then also let's look ahead to the first grade. Let's look ahead to what are the other facilities seeing. Beetle is over 100 years old, and let's plan for that, but let's stagger it so we can move forward, but still prepare ourselves for that growth, knowing that it's coming.
So with all the potential changes at the national and state level with departments of education, what should Yankton be doing to prepare?
When we say Yankton in general, I think as a community and as a member of the school board, I think it's important that there's education of the impact of the potential legislation going out and what it will actually look like for our students. And with that education, then people can go in and make a vote or contact the representatives with an understanding of what it will actually look like and what the impact will be. So I think it's very important as a community to not only provide opportunities to fully hear what these are proposing, what it will look like, hear from the stakeholders, but then also as community members take those opportunities to learn and hear everything about what is being proposed to make an informed decision.
So what are some of your budgeting priorities for the Yankton School District to set the district up for long-term success?
Yeah, as a business owner, you get you get to zoom out and look at what is money being spent on. And I think for the school district you have to think the same way as a business. What are we doing to set us up for success for everyone? As a business owner, our biggest expense is payroll. Without the staff working to provide the services, it's a school without teachers, without all of the other staff I aforementioned that make it happen, then there is no school. And so I think we need to plan and strategize to ensure that we are able to continue that in addition to those facilities, and watching and looking ahead and not letting concerns about buildings being old just kind of go to the wayside, because then it will be a problem down the road. It's better to look ahead, as they have been doing, to ensure we're prepared for those things that are necessary. Yeah.
So at the state legislature this year, educational savings accounts were proposed, and they were actually, that initiative did not move forward at all, but it's already been stated that there will likely be some type of bills coming forward next year. Do you support ESAs or something similar, and why or why not?
No, I do not support them. My passion for education is a passion to ensure that education is accessible for everyone. The fact that I'm running for a school board, a public school board, I need to support fully the public school, what it has to offer and everything that it's offering to its students. The public school provides essential services, not only education, but the additional supplemental support of education, and they're required to. Private schools are not required to accept students, they're not required to meet students' needs. So supporting public education allows us to ensure that there's a standard, that everybody will be treated fairly and will receive the services that they need. And not only, I looked into, a couple things that I'm observing that our public school offers above and beyond, for educational opportunities at the bare minimum education, but also career preparedness. And, whether you're going into a bunch of schooling, whether it's a medical degree or anything that requires a bunch of schooling, there's a lot of AP classes that prepare you, and you might not have those opportunities in other areas. In addition to that, there's work experience. There's a lot of CTE classes that I'll go to in here in a further question as well. But it would be a disservice in our community to not provide free public education to all, not to mention that we don't have any private education after 8th grade available in our community. And I want to ensure that everybody has access to education. I think that's absolutely important.
So partnerships and collaboration with other entities are critically important. Can you tell us what you would do to strengthen existing relationships and grow new ones?
Yeah, I am always particularly taken aback by all of the community partnerships, the way our community really rallies together to support each other is inspiring. And that's why I have a passion for Yankton and for our educational system and all of them working together. Partnerships arise out of need. There's a need that people are made aware that needs to be met. And then I've seen the community really come together and see how to meet those. And so I think it's really important, when you say how to improve existing ones and new ones, we really need to keep our eyes open and our ears open. That's where that comes the community being able to approach school board members or get their perspectives shared, letting us know of those needs and those improvements that they're seeing. And I just have a couple that I want to mention that I'm particularly impressed by. The United Way has a lot of different programs that they offer, but particularly, like Stuff the Bus at the beginning of the year, students that can't afford school supplies, the United Way has this huge push, a lot of volunteers, and not just the fact that they offer the program, but the fact that the community donates so much. We see community support to make sure that all of our students within our community are successful. Big Friend, Little Friend mentorships, also from the United Way. The Boys and Girls Club, ensuring that there's after-school quality education, again, to standards to make sure that they're meeting educational needs, make sure they're meeting nutrition needs, there's food available. And then they offer summertime, but also snow day. If there's a situation where school is closed, the Boys and Girls Club is available to meet that need for students who may be at home if a parent isn't able to stay home from work. Those are a few, but there's so many more that I could go on about. But I think community partnerships are important. Keep our eyes open and our ears open for, what could be improved, and maybe something else is needed, and who could we partner with to make that happen.
Yeah, one of the other programs that I've heard about recently is the Angel Fund up at within the school district to help pay for school lunches for kids that might need a little bit of additional assistance in that area.
Absolutely, and some kids, some individuals may feel it's a pride status of not signing up for free and reduced price lunch, but if it's a need, then the school wants to work with them to make it happen. And sometimes it's maybe just a communication of the kid not getting their lunch money due amount to their parents, but if it is a real need, the school also has that Angel Fund to support students that are really in the negative, to help them afford lunch.
Because those kids can't learn if they're hungry.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is needed in the Yankton School District to provide children with the best educational opportunities?
When I read educational opportunities, I had to kind of find that definition for myself. So yes, education, straightforward teaching, right? But then educational opportunities, like I said, the Yankton School District has a well-rounded exposure to activities, so sports and fine arts and college and career preparedness, and all of that is educational opportunities for students. When they graduate from high school at 17, 18, we want them to have everything they need to be a successful member and contributor to society. And when I think of early education, the elementary and middle school, when we think of what is needed in the district, there's already a lot of excellent things in place. I think the continuing of ensuring that communication with parents, yes, broad messaging about what is available, when to register, all of those things, but also that communication and dialogue between parents and staff working with the student to ensure that they're aware of where their child's at for their abilities, what are their needs, and then exposing them to what is available to support them within the district, because there's a lot of excellent opportunities within the district. And then, when you think of older kids, the middle school, high schoolers, their activities start early, and there is a lot of private stuff for little kids, but then school sports start in middle school, and band and music start in 4th grade and 5th grade, and encouraging students to go for something if they're interested, and supporting them and supporting the families. Like you said, if somebody can't afford something, then you can get like a loaner instrument. Don't be afraid to try something, don't be afraid to ask questions, and I want parents to be provided with those opportunities so they're aware of everything that their kid can do. Then I think of high school, and with the variety of career preparedness, so there's AP classes, you can get ahead for college, there's World of Work, and the CTE list. I did bring it because it has grown since I was in high school, and I know I wasn't in high school that long ago. I graduated 2013. Nancy, don't judge me on that. But it has really grown. I'm just going to read off a couple so the public is aware too. If you haven't had a kid in high school recently that has explored CTE classes, here's what is available. Agriculture and food, natural resources, horticulture, animal science, architecture and construction. They build a house every year. Carpentry, intro to draft and design, when you're drafting, what those actually look like. Arts and audio, digital media is really big lately with being able to market yourself or market a company. That's very valuable. Business management, educational training for those that are interested in becoming teachers or educators, finance, hospitality and tourism. They could potentially work at Yankton Thrive in their future, and that's big in our community. And so to capitalize on the opportunities to observe, witness, participate in things that are already happening in our community sets students up for success for when they leave. And then they have a better idea of what's available to them and the jobs that are out there. Human services, IT, manufacturing, science, technology, transportation, and then, the world of work where they get to shadow individuals. I think those are all incredible opportunities that, if you're not aware of them and you don't seek them out, you might miss out on that. And so I think it's just important to communicate that and keep educating parents and community members that those are out there and that it's available for kids. And sometimes it takes just the guidance or referral, whether it's a teacher or a staff member saying, hey, I think you'd be good at that. Look into it. And sometimes that's that last step that makes them seek it out. So
And
communication.
To the viewing audience, if you do have a business or interested in an intern at some point or having someone come in and shadow, please contact the high school and see if they're able to make that happen. I know out here at Yankton Thrive, we have had multiple students come through to learn more, whether it be about hospitality or marketing or the business side of what we do. And it's an incredibly valuable experience for them.
Yep.
And it's great for them to understand the opportunities so that hopefully post-graduation, whether they go get continuing education or stay right here and work, we can show them what Yankton has to offer.
Yeah.
So do you have anything that you would like to share with the viewing audience that was not a part of a previously asked question?
It wasn't in a question, but I hope it's obvious. My passion for education, my passion for students, my passion for the community is there and alive and well. And, with life not being able to be a teacher at the moment, I still want to participate and be active in supporting education in our community. And it would be an honor and a privilege to serve my community in this way if it is so chosen.
Well, Sarah, thank you for joining us here today. And once again, April 8th is Election Day.
Thank you.